Hexagram 1 of the Ching. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. The I Ching, translated by James Lang. Text, Section 1, Hexagram 1. The Qian hexagram. Explanation of the entire figure by King 1. Qian represents what is great and originating, penetrating, advantageous, correct, and firm. Explanation of the separate lines by the Duke of Zhou. In the first or lowest line, undivided, we see its subject as the dragon, lying hid in the deep. It is not the time for active doing. In the second line, undivided, we see its subject as the dragon appearing in the field. It will be advantageous to meet with the great man. In the third line, undivided, we see its subject as the superior man, active and vigilant all the day, and in the evening, still careful and apprehensive. The position is dangerous, but there will be no mistake. In the fourth line, undivided, we see its subject as the dragon looking as if he were leaping up, but still in the deep. There will be no mistake. In the fifth line, undivided, we see its subject as the dragon on the wing in the sky. It will be advantageous to meet with the great man. In the sixth or topmost line, undivided, we see its subject as the dragon exceeding the proper limits. There will be occasion for repentance. The lines of this hexagram are all strong and undivided, as appears from the use of the number 9. If the host of dragons thus appearing were to divest themselves of their heads, there would be good fortune. Footnote. The text under each hexagram consists of one paragraph by King 1, explaining the figure as a whole, and of 6, in the case of hexagrams 1 and 2, of 7 paragraphs by the Duke of Zhou, explaining the individual lines. The explanatory notices introduced above to this effect will not be repeated. A double space will be used to mark off the portion of King 1 from that of his son. Each hexagram consists of 2 of the trigrams of Hu Xi, the lower being called the inner, and the one above the outer. The lines, however, are numbered from 1 to 6, commencing with the lowest. To denote the number of it and of the 6th line, the terms for commencing and topmost are used. The intermediate lines are simply second, third, etc. As the lines must be either whole or divided, technically called strong and weak, yang and yin. This distinction is indicated by the application to them of the numbers 9 and 6. All whole lines are 9. All divided lines 6. 2 explanations have been proposed of this application of these numbers. The Qian trigram, it is said, contains 3 strokes. undivided, undivided, undivided. And the Quan 6, divided, divided, divided. But the Yang contains the Yin in itself, and its representative number will be 3 plus 6 equals 9, while the Yin not containing the Yang will only have its own number, or 6. This explanation, entirely arbitrary, is now deservedly abandoned. The other is based on the use of the 4 Si Shang, or emblematic figures: undivided, undivided, the great or old Yang; undivided, divided, the young Yang; divided, divided, the old Yin; and divided, undivided, the young Yin. To these are assigned, by what process is unimportant for our present purpose, the numbers 9, 8, 7, 6. They were the old Yang, represented by 9, and the old Yin, represented by 6, that in the manipulation of the stalks to form new diagrams determined the changes of figure, and so 9 and 6 came to be used as the names of a Yang line and a Yin line respectively. This explanation is now universally acquiesced in. The nomenclature of first 9, 9, 2, etc., or first 6, 6, 2, etc., however, is merely a jargon, and I have preferred to use instead of it in the translation, in order to describe the lines, the names undivided and divided. End footnote. Appendix 1. Treatise on the Tuan, or King Ones, explanations of the entire hexagram. Section 1. Hexagram 1. Vast is the great and originating power indicated by Qian. All things owe to it their beginning. It contains all the meaning belonging to the name heaven. The clouds move and the rain is distributed. The various things appear in their developed forms. The sages grandly understand the connection between the end and the beginning, and how the indications of the 6 lines in the hexagram are accomplished, each in its season. Accordingly, they mount the carriage drawn by those 6 dragons at the proper times, and drive through the sky. The method of Qian is to change and transform, so that everything obtains its correct nature as appointed by the mind of heaven, and thereafter the conditions of great harmony are preserved in union. The result is what is advantageous and correct and firm. The sage appears aloft, high above all things, and the myriad states all enjoy repose. Appendix 2. Treatise on the symbolism of the hexagram, and of the Duke of Zhou's explanations of the several lines. Section 1. Hexagram 1. Heaven, in its motion, gives the idea of strength. The superior man, in accordance with this, nerves himself to ceaseless activity. 1. The dragon lies hid in the deep. It is not the time for active doing. This appears from the strong and undivided lines being in the lowest place. 2. the dragon appears in the field. The diffusion of virtuous influence has been wide. 3. Active and vigilant all the day. This refers to the treading of the proper path over and over again. 4. He seems to be leaping up, but is still in the deep. If he advance, there will be no error. 5. The dragon is on the wing in the sky. The great man rouses himself to his work. 6. The dragon exceeds the proper limits. There will be occasion for repentance. A state of fullness, that is, should not be indulged in long. 7. The same undivided line is used in all the places of this hexagram, but the attribute of heaven, thereby denoted, should not always take the foremost place. Footnote. Like the text under each hexagram, what is said under each in this treatise on its symbolism is divided into 2 portions. The first is called the Great Symbolism, and is occupied with the trigrammatic composition of the hexagram, to the statement of which is always subjoined an exhibition of the use which should be, or has been, made of the lesson suggested by the meaning of the whole figure in the administration of affairs, or in self-government. If the treatise be rightly ascribed to Confucius, this practical application of the teaching of the symbols is eminently characteristic of his method in inculcating truth and duty, though we often find it difficult to trace the connection between his premise and conclusion. This portion of the treatise will be separated by a double space from what follows, the lesser symbolism, in the explanations of the several lines. End footnote and end of hexagram 1. Hexagram 2 of the Ching, translated by James Legge. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. 2. The Quan hexagram. Quan represents what is great and originating, penetrating, advantageous, correct, and having the firmness of a mare. When the superior man, here intended, has to make any movement, if he take the initiative, he will go astray. If he follow, he will find his proper lord. The advantageousness will be seen in his getting friends in the south, west, and losing friends in the north, east. If he rest in correctness and firmness, there will be good fortune. In the first line, divided, we see its subject treading on hoarfrost. The strong ice will come by and by. The second line, divided, shows the attribute of being straight, square, and great. Its operation, without repeated efforts, will be in every respect advantageous. The third line, divided, shows its subject keeping his excellence under restraint, but firmly maintaining it. If he should have occasion to engage in the king's service, though he will not claim the success for himself, he will bring affairs to a good issue. The fourth line, divided, shows the symbol of a sack tied up. There will be no ground for blame or for praise. The fifth line, divided, shows the yellow lower garment. There will be great good fortune. The sixth line, divided, shows dragons fighting in the wild. Their blood is purple and yellow. The lines of this hexagram are all weak and divided, as appears from the use of the number 6. If those who are thus represented be perpetually correct and firm, advantage will arise. King once explanation of the entire hexagram. 2. Complete is the great and originating capacity indicated by Quan. All things owe to it their birth. It receives obediently the influences of heaven. Quan, in its largeness, supports and contains all things. Its excellent capacity matches the unlimited power of Ching. Its comprehension is wide and its brightness great. The various things obtain by it their full development. The mare is a creature of earthly kind. Its power of moving on the earth is without limit. It is mild and docile, advantageous and firm. Such is the course of the superior man. If he take the initiative, he goes astray. He misses, that is, his proper course. If he follow, he is docile and gets into his regular course. In the southwest, he will get friends. He will be walking with those of his own class. In the northeast, he will lose friends. But in the end, there will be ground for congratulation. The good fortune arising from resting in firmness corresponds to the unlimited capacity of the earth. The symbolism of the hexagram and the Duke of Zhou's explanation of the several lines. 2. The capacity and sustaining power of the earth is what is denoted by Quan. The superior man, in accordance with this, with his large virtue, supports men and things. 1. He is treading on hoarfrost. The strong ice will come by and by. The cold air has begun to take form. Allow it to go on quietly according to its nature, and the hoarfrost will come to strong ice. 2. The movement indicated by the second line divided is from the straight line to the square. Its operation, without repeated effort, in every way advantageous, shows the brilliant result of the way of earth. 3. He keeps his excellence under restraint, but firmly maintains it. At the proper time, he will manifest it. He may have occasion to engage in the king's service. Great is the glory of his wisdom. 4. A sack tied up. There will be no error. This shows how, through carefulness, no injury will be received. 5. The yellow lower garment. There will be great good fortune. This follows from that ornamental colors being in the right and central place. 6. The dragons fight in the wild. The onward course indicated by Quan is pursued to extremity. 7. The lines are all weak and divided, as appears from the use of the number 6. But those who are thus represented, becoming perpetually correct and firm, there will thereby be a great consummation. End of Hexagram 2. Hexagram 3 of the Ching, translated by James Lang. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. 3. The Zhuan hexagram. Zhuan indicates that in the case which it presupposes there will be great progress and success, and the advantage will come from being correct and firm. But any movement in advance should not be lightly undertaken. There will be advantage in appointing feudal princes. The first line, undivided, shows the difficulty its subject has in advancing. It will be advantageous for him to abide, correct and firm. Advantageous also to be made a feudal ruler. The second line, divided, shows its subject distressed and obliged to return. Even the horses of her chariot also seem to be retreating. But not by a spoiler is she assailed, but by one who seeks her to be his wife. The young lady maintains her firm correctness and declines a union. After 10 years, she will be united and have children. The third line, divided, shows one following the deer without the guidance of the forester, and only finding himself in the midst of the forest. The superior man, acquainted with the secret risks, thinks it better to give up the chase. If he went forward, he would regret it. The fourth line, divided, shows its subject as a lady, the horses of whose chariot appear in retreat. She seeks, however, the help of him who seeks her to be his wife. Advance will be fortunate. All will turn out advantageously. The fifth line, undivided, shows the difficulties in the way of its subjects, dispensing the rich favors that might be expected from him. With firmness and correctness, there will be good fortune in small things. Even with them, in great things, there will be evil. The topmost line, divided, shows its subject with the horses of his chariot obliged to retreat and weeping tears of blood in streams. Treatise on the Tuan, or King One's explanation of the entire hexagram. 3. In Zhuan, we have the strong, Qian, and the weak, Quan, commencing their intercourse and difficulties arising. Movement in the midst of peril gives rise to great progress and success through firm correctness. By the action of the thunder and rain, which are symbols of Jian and Kan, all between heaven and earth is filled up. But the condition of the time is full of irregularity and obscurity. Feudal princes should be established, but the feeling that rest and peace have been secured should not be indulged even then. Treatise on the symbolism of the hexagram and of the Duke of Zhou's explanations of the several lines. 3. The trigram representing clouds and that representing thunder form Zhuan. The superior man, in accordance with this, adjusts his measures of government as in sorting the threads of the warp and woof. 1. Although there is a difficulty in advancing, the mind of the subject of the line is set on doing what is correct. While noble, he humbles himself to the mean and grandly gains the people. 2. The difficulty to the subject of the second line, divided, arises from its place over the undivided line below it. The union and children after 10 years shows things resuming their regular course. 3. One pursues the deer without the guidance of the forester. He does so in his eagerness to follow the game. The superior man gives up the chase, knowing that if he go forward, he will regret it. He would be reduced to extremity. 4. Going forward after such a search for a helper shows intelligence. 5. Difficulty is experienced by the subject of the fifth line in bestowing his rich favors. The extent to which they reach will not yet be conspicuous. 6. He weeps tears of blood in streams. How can the state thus emblemed continue long? End of Hexagram 3. Hexagram 4 of the Ching, translated by James Lang. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. 4. The Hmong hexagram. Hmong indicates that in the case which it presupposes there will be progress and success. I do not go and seek the youthful and inexperienced, but he comes and seeks me. When he shows the sincerity that marks the first recourse to divination, I instruct him. If he apply a second and third time, that is troublesome, and I do not instruct the troublesome. there will be advantage in being firm and correct. The first line, divided, has respect to the dispelling of ignorance. It will be advantageous to use punishment for that purpose and to remove the shackles from the mind. But going on in that way of punishment will give occasion for regret. The second line, undivided, shows its subject exercising forbearance with the ignorant, in which there will be good fortune, and admitting even the goodness of women, which will also be fortunate. He may be described also as a son able to sustain the burden of his family. The third line, divided, seems to say that one should not marry a woman whose emblem it might be, for that when she sees a man of wealth, she will not keep her person from him, and in no wise will advantage come from her. The fourth line, divided, shows its subject as if bound in chains of ignorance. There will be occasion for regret. The fifth line, divided, shows its subject as a simple lad without experience. There will be good fortune. In the topmost line, undivided, we see one smiting the ignorant youth. But no advantage will come from doing him an injury. An advantage would come from warding off injury from him. King, whence explanation of the entire hexagram. 4. In Hmong, we have the trigram for a mountain, and below it that of a rugged defile with a stream in it. The conditions of peril and arrest of progress suggested by these give the idea in Hmong. Hmong indicates that there will be progress and success. For there is development at work in it, and its time of action is exactly what is right. I do not seek the youthful and inexperienced. He seeks me. So does will respond to will. When he shows the sincerity that marks the first recourse to divination, I instruct him. For possessing the qualities of the undivided line, and being in the central place, the subject of the second line thus speaks. A second and third application create annoyance, and I do not instruct so as to create annoyance. Annoyance, he means to the ignorant. The method of dealing with the young and ignorant is to nourish the correct nature belonging to them. This accomplishes the service of the sage. The symbolism of the hexagram and the Duke of Zhou's explanation of the several lines. 4. The trigram representing a mountain and beneath it, that for a spring issuing forth form, Hmong. The superior man, in accordance with this, strives to be resolute in his conduct and nourishes his virtue. 1. It will be advantageous to use punishment, the object being to bring under the influence of correcting law 2. A son able to sustain the burden of his family, as appears from the reciprocation between this strong line and the weak 5th line. 3. A woman, such as is here represented, should not be taken in marriage. Her conduct is not agreeable to what is right. 4. The regret arising from ignorance, bound in chains, is due to the special distance of the subject of this line from the solidity shown in lines 2 and 6. 5. The good fortune belonging to the simple lad without experience comes from his docility going on to humility. 6. Advantage will come from warding off injury. The subject of this line above and the ignorant below all do and are done to in accordance with their nature. End of Hexagram 4. Hexagram 5 of the Ching, translated by James Lang. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. 5. The Xu hexagram. Xu intimates that with the sincerity which is declared in it, there will be brilliant success. With firmness, there will be good fortune, and it will be advantageous to cross the great stream. The first line, undivided, shows its subject waiting in the distant border. It will be well for him constantly to maintain the purpose thus shown, in which case there will be no error. The second line, undivided, shows its subject waiting on the sand of the mountain stream. He will suffer the small injury of being spoken against, but in the end there will be good fortune. The third line, undivided, shows its subject in the mud, close by the stream. He thereby invites the approach of injury. The fourth line, divided, shows its subject waiting in the place of blood, but he will get out of the cavern. The fifth line, undivided, shows its subject waiting amidst the appliances of a feast. Through his firmness and correctness, there will be good fortune. The topmost line, divided, shows its subject entered into the cavern, but there are 3 guests coming without being urged to his help. If he receive them respectfully, there will be good fortune in the end. King Wen's explanation of the entire hexagram. 5. Xu denotes waiting. The figure shows peril in front, but notwithstanding the firmness and strength indicated by the inner trigram, its subject does not allow himself to be involved in the dangerous defile. It is right he should not be straitened or reduced to extremity. When it is said that, with the sincerity declared in Xu, there will be brilliant success, and with firmness there will be good fortune, this is shown by the position of the fifth line in the place assigned by heaven, and its being the correct position for it, and in the center. It will be advantageous to go through the great stream. That is, going forward will be followed by meritorious achievement. The symbolism of the hexagram and the Duke of Zhou's explanation of the several lines. 5. The trigram for clouds ascending over that for the sky forms Xu. The superior man, in accordance with this, eats and drinks, feasts and enjoys himself, as if there were nothing else to employ him. 1. He is waiting in the distant border. He makes no movement to encounter rashly the difficulties of the situation. It will be advantageous for him constantly to maintain the purpose thus shown, in which case there will be no error. He will not fail to pursue that regular course. 2. He is waiting on the sand. He occupies his position in the center with a generous forbearance. Though he suffer the small injury of being spoken against, he will bring things to a good issue. 3. He is waiting in the mud. Calamity is close at hand and, as it were, in the outer trigram. He himself invites the approach of injury. If he be reverent and careful, he will not be worsted. 4. He is waiting in the place of blood. He accommodates himself to the circumstances of the time, and hearkens to its requirements. 5. The appliances of a feast and the good fortune, through being firm and correct, are indicated by the position in the central and correct place. 6. Guests come unurged to give their help, and if the subject of the line receive them respectfully, there will be good fortune in the end. Though the occupant and the place are not suited to each other, there has been no great failure in what has been done. End of Hexagram 5. Hexagram 6 of the Ching, translated by James Legge. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. 6. The Song Hexagram. Song intimates how, though there is sincerity in one's contention, he will yet meet with opposition and obstruction. But if he cherish an apprehensive caution, there will be good fortune, while if he must prosecute the contention to the bitter end, there will be evil. It will be advantageous to see the great man. It will not be advantageous to cross the great stream. The first line, divided, shows its subject not perpetuating the matter about which the contention is. He will suffer the small injury of being spoken against, but the end will be fortunate. The second line, undivided, shows its subject unequal to the contention. If he retire and keep concealed where the inhabitants of his city are only 300 families, he will fall into no mistake. The third line, divided, shows its subject keeping in the old place assigned for his support and firmly correct. Perilous as the position is, there will be good fortune in the end. Should he perchance engage in the king's business, he will not claim the merit of achievement. The fourth line, undivided, shows its subject unequal to the contention. He returns to the study of heaven's ordinances, changes his wish to contend, and rests in being firm and correct. There will be good fortune. The fifth line, undivided, shows its subject contending, and with great good fortune. The topmost line, undivided, shows how its subject may have the leathern belt conferred on him by the sovereign, and thrice it shall be taken from him in a morning. King whence? Explanation of the entire hexagram. 6. The upper portion of song is the trigram representing strength, and the lower that representing peril. The coming together of strength and peril gives the idea in song. Song intimates how, though there is sincerity in one's contention, he will yet meet with opposition and obstruction. But if he cherish an apprehensive caution, there will be good fortune. A strong line has come and got the central place in the lower trigram. If he must prosecute the contention to the bitter end, there will be evil. Contention is not a thing to be carried on to extremity. It will be advantageous to meet with the great man. What he sets a value on is the due mean and the correct place. It will not be advantageous to cross the great stream. One attempting to do so would find himself in an abyss. The symbolism of the hexagram and the Duke of Zhou's explanation of the several lines. 6. The trigram representing heaven and that representing water, moving away from each other, form song. The superior man, in accordance with this, in the transaction of affairs, takes good counsel about his first steps. 1. He does not perpetuate the matter about which the contention is. Contention should not be prolonged. Although he may suffer the small injury of being spoken against, his argument is clear. 2. He is unequal to the contention. He retires and keeps concealed, stealthily withdrawing from it. For him, from his lower place to contend with the stronger one above would be to invite calamity, as if he brought it with his hand to himself. 3. He confines himself to the support assigned to him of old. Thus, following those above him, he will have good fortune. 4. He returns to the study of heaven's ordinances, changes his wish to contend, and rests in being firm and correct. He does not fail in doing what is right. 5. He contends and with great fortune. This is shown by his holding the due mean and being in the correct place. 6. He receives the robe through his contention. but still he is not deserving of respect. End of Hexagram 6. Hexagram 7 of the Ching, translated by James Lang. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. 7. The Shi hexagram. Shi indicates how, in the case which it supposes, with firmness and correctness, and a leader of age and experience, there will be good fortune and no error. The first line, divided, shows the host going forth according to the rules for such a movement. If these be not good, there will be evil. The second line, undivided, shows the leader in the midst of the host. There will be good fortune and no error. The king has thrice conveyed to him the orders of his favor. The third line, divided, shows how the host may possibly have many inefficient leaders. There will be evil. The fourth line, divided, shows the host in retreat. There is no error. The fifth line, divided, shows birds in the fields, which it will be advantageous to seize and destroy. In that case, there will be no error. If the oldest son leads the host, and younger men idly occupy offices assigned to them, however firm and correct he may be, there will be evil. The topmost line, divided, shows the great ruler delivering his charges, appointing some to be rulers of states and others to undertake the headship of clans. But small men should not be employed in such positions. King Wen's explanation of the entire hexagram. 7. The name Shi describes the multitude of the host. The firmness and correctness which the hexagram indicates refer to moral correctness of aim. When the mover is able to use the multitude with such correctness, he may attain to the royal sway. There is the symbol of strength in the center of the trigram below, and it is responded to by its proper correlate above. The action gives rise to perils, but is in accordance with the best sentiments of men. Its mover may by such action distress all the country, but the people will follow him. There will be good fortune, and what error should there be? The symbolism of the hexagram and the Duke of Zhou's explanation of the several lines. 7. The trigram representing the earth, and in the midst of it, that representing water, form Shi. The superior man, in accordance with this, nourishes and educates the people, and collects from among them the multitudes of the hosts. 1. The host goes forth according to the rules for such a movement. If those rules be not observed, there will be evil. 2. He is in the midst of the host, and there will be good fortune. He has received the favor of heaven. The king has thrice conveyed to him the orders of his favor. the king cherishes the myriad regions in his heart. 3. The host, with the possibility of its having many idle leaders. Great will be its want of success. 4. The host is in retreat, but there is no error. There has been no failure in the regular course. 5. The oldest son leads the host. Its movements are directed by him in accordance with his position in the center. Younger men idly occupy their positions. The employment of such men is improper. 6. The great ruler delivers his charges. Thereby he rightly apportions merit. Small men should not be employed. They are sure to throw the states into confusion. End of Hexagram 7. Hexagram 8 of the Ching, translated by James Lang. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. 8. The B hexagram. B indicates that under the conditions which it supposes there is good fortune. But let the principal party intended in it re-examine himself, as if, by divination, whether his virtue be great, unintermitting, and firm. If it be so, there will be no error. Those who have not rest will then come to him, and with those who are too late in coming, it will be ill. The first line, divided, shows its subject seeking by his sincerity to win the attachment of his object. There will be no error. Let the breast be full of sincerity, as an earthenware vessel is of its contents, and it will, in the end, bring other advantages. In the second line, divided, we see the movement towards union and attachment proceeding from the inward mind. With firm correctness, there will be good fortune. In the third line, divided, we see its subject seeking for union with such as ought not to be associated with. In the fourth line, divided, we see its subject seeking for union with the one beyond himself. With firm correctness, there will be good fortune. The fifth line, undivided, affords the most illustrious instance of seeking union and attachment. We seem to see in it the king urging his pursuit of the game only in 3 directions, and allowing the escape of all the animals before him, while the people of his towns do not warn one another to prevent it. There will be good fortune. In the topmost line, divided, we see one seeking union and attachment without having taken the first step to such an end. There will be evil. King wins. Explanation of the entire hexagram. 8. B indicates that there is good fortune. The name B denotes help, and we see in the figure inferiors docilely following their superior. Let the principal party intended in it re-examine himself as if by divination, whether his virtue be great, unintermitting, and firm. If it be so, there will be no error. All this follows from the position of the strong line in the center of the upper trigram. Those who have not rest will come to him. High and low will respond to its subject. With those who are too late in coming, it will be ill. For them, the way of good fortune here indicated has been exhausted. The symbolism of the hexagram and the Duke of Zhou's explanation of the several lines. 8. The trigram representing the earth and over it, that representing water, form B. The ancient kings, in accordance with this, established the various states and maintained an affectionate relation to their princes. 1. From the seeking union with its object, shown in the first line divided, there will be other advantages. 2. The movement towards union and attachment proceeds from the inward mind. The party concerned does not fail in what is proper to himself. 3. Union is sought with such as ought not to be associated with. But will not injury be the result? 4. Union is sought by the party intended here, with one beyond himself, and in this case with a worthy object. He is following the ruler above him. 5. The good fortune belonging to the most illustrious instance of seeking union and attachment appears in the correct and central position of the fifth line, undivided. The kings neglecting the animals confronting him, and then fleeing, and only taking those who present themselves, as it were, obediently, is seen in his allowing the escape of those in front of him. That the people of his towns do not warn one another to prevent such escape shows how he, in his high eminence, has made them pursue the due course. 6. He seeks union and attachment without taking the first step to such an end. There is no possibility of a good issue. End of Hexagram 8. Hexagram 9 of the Ching, translated by James Lang. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. 9. The Xiao Xu hexagram. Xiao Xu indicates that under its conditions there will be progress and success. We see dense clouds, but no rain coming from our borders in the west. The first line, undivided, shows its subject returning and pursuing his own course. What mistake should he fall into? There will be good fortune. The second line, undivided, shows its subject, by the attraction of the former line, returning to the proper course. There will be good fortune. The third line, undivided, suggests the idea of a carriage, the strap beneath which has been removed, or of a husband and wife looking on each other with averted eyes. The fourth line, divided, shows its subject possessed of sincerity. The danger of bloodshed is thereby averted, and his ground for apprehension dismissed. There will be no mistake. The fifth line, undivided, shows its subject possessed of sincerity, and drawing others to unite with him. Rich in resources, he employs his neighbors in the same cause with himself. The topmost line, undivided, shows how the rain has fallen, and the onward progress is stayed. So must we value the full accumulation of the virtue represented by the upper trigram. But a wife exercising restraint, however firm and correct she may be, is in a position of peril, and like the moon approaching to the full. If the superior man prosecute his measures in such circumstances, there will be evil. Treatise on the Tuan, or King Hunt's explanation of the entire hexagram. 9. In Xiao Xu, the weak line occupies its proper position, and the lines above and below respond to it. Hence comes the name of Xiao Xu, small restraint. It presents the symbols of strength and flexibility. Strong lines are in the central places, and the will of their subjects will have free course. Thus it indicates that there will be progress and success. Dense clouds, but no rain, indicates the movement of the strong lines still going forward. The commencing at our western border indicates that the beneficial influence has not yet been widely displayed. Treatise on the symbolism of the hexagram and of the Duke of Zhou's explanations of the several lines. 9. The trigram representing the sky, and that representing wind moving above it, form Xiao Xu. The superior man, in accordance with this, adorns the outward manifestation of his virtue. 1. He returns and pursues his own path. It is right that there should be good fortune. 2. By the attraction of the subject of the former line, he returns to his own course, and is in the central place. Neither will he err in what is due from him. 3. Husband and wife look on each other with averted eyes. The subject of line 3 is like a husband who cannot maintain correctly his relations with his wife. 4. He is possessed of sincerity. His ground for apprehension is dismissed. The subjects of the lines above agree in aim with him. 5. He is possessed of sincerity and draws others to unite with him. He does not use only his own rich resources. 6. The rain has fallen and the onward progress is stayed. The power denoted in the figure has accumulated to the full. If the superior man prosecute his measures, there will be evil. he will find himself obstructed. End of Hexagram 9. Hexagram 10 of the Ching, translated by James Lang. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. 10. The Lü hexagram. Lü suggests the idea of one treading on the tail of a tiger, which does not bite him. There will be progress and success. The first line, undivided, shows its subject treading his accustomed path. If he go forward, there will be no error. The second line, undivided, shows its subject treading the path that is level and easy. A quiet and solitary man, to whom, if he be firm and correct, there will be good fortune. The third line, divided, shows a one-eyed man who thinks he can see, a lame man who thinks he can walk well, one who treads on the tail of a tiger and is bitten. All this indicates ill fortune. We have a mere bravo acting the part of a great ruler. The fourth line, undivided, shows its subject treading on the tail of a tiger. He becomes full of apprehensive caution, and in the end there will be good fortune. The fifth line, undivided, shows the resolute tread of its subject. Though he be firm and correct, there will be peril. The sixth line, undivided, tells us to look at the whole course that is trodden and examine the presage which that gives. If it be complete and without failure, there will be great good fortune. Treatise on the Tuan, or King Tuan's explanation of the entire hexagram. 10. In Lü, we have the symbol of weakness treading on that of strength. The lower trigram indicates pleasure and satisfaction and responds to the upper indicating strength. Hence it is said, he treads on the tail of a tiger which does not bite him. There will be progress and success. The fifth line is strong in the center and in its correct place. Its subject occupies the God-given position and falls into no distress or failure. His action will be brilliant. Treatise on the symbolism of the hexagram and of the Duke of Zhou's explanations of the several lines. 10. The trigram, representing the sky above, and below it, not representing the waters of a marsh, form Lü. The superior man, in accordance with this, discriminates between high and low, and gives settlement to the aims of the people. 1. He treads his accustomed path and goes forward. Singly and exclusively, he carries out his long-cherished wishes. 2. A quiet and solitary man, to whom, being firm and correct, there will be good fortune. Holding the due mean, he will not allow himself to be thrown into disorder. 3. A one-eyed man who thinks that he can see. He is not fit to see clearly. A lame man who thinks that he can tread well. One cannot walk along with him. The ill fortune of being bitten arises from the place not being the proper one for him. A mere bravo, acting the part of a great ruler. This is owing to his aims being too violent. 4. He becomes full of apprehensive caution, and in the end there will be good fortune. His aim takes effect. 5. He treads resolutely, and though he be firm and correct, there is peril. This is due to his being in the position that is correct and appropriate to him. 6. There will be great good fortune, and that in the occupancy of the topmost line. This is great matter for congratulation. End of Hexagram 10. Hexagram 11 of the Ching, translated by James